I'm the third. I'm named after my dad. Professionally, I go by the Ubiquitous Poet, aka UP. That was my MC name. Started off in the industry as a hip hop artist, a rapper, and so my name kind of reflects the fact that I see myself creating poetry, and ubiquitous meaning my aspirations to exist everywhere.
My name is Mike Hoover, aka the Eloquent Slave. I'm the younger of the duo called Kinship. I got my rap name, because I become enslaved to the beat, and I try to articulate my concepts very crisply so that people can understand, what I'm saying. And I am the youngest boy of the family. So growing up with two older brothers, you got beat up. They took your food. So you had to learn how to become a survivor. And I'll give my brothers, that credit. They taught me how to survive. And my younger sister, unfortunately, she caught the brunt of me, messing with her, chastising her. My brother and I, especially because he's 2 years older than I am, we have a unique connection because he taught me how to tie my shoes. He taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me how to talk to girls because, he was, that guy that I looked up to as a superhero when I was a kid.
I started off again in a family of creative people. My parents were very liberal with allowing us to express ourselves as kids. I've got two brothers and a younger sister. So, growing up, it was all about, hey, what can you do to kind of stand out in a family of, 4 kids and everybody's fighting for attention. So my thing was music and dance. And so I came up as an artist kind of taking music as my focal point for how I was going to express myself. And that turned into me writing songs, and I used to make these pause tapes. So I take, 2 cassettes, and I take little snippets of songs off the radio, and I would snip them together to have an instrumental. And from that instrumental, I'm like, okay, now I got me a beat, I can rhyme to it. And so that obviously turned into me buying equipment and starting to produce Kinship, which is the name of the group that consists of myself and my younger brother, Michael. And so, my roots are definitely in the artist-producer standpoint. Obviously, coming from a family of educators, I also knew that I had to go to college and I had to get a job that was going to sustain myself. So I studied economics at Virginia Commonwealth University and kind of pursued a professional route where I could raise a family and have a job that, put food on the table consistently. But I never lost passion for the entertainment industry. So we just now are in an opportunity where we can put those things together and kind of blend our professional and educational experience with the entertainment.
And the first artist that I really fell in love with was my brother. He created this rap when he was about 9 years old, maybe a little younger, called the Tarzan rap. And I was beatboxing. I think I was 6 or 7. So I started beatboxing, and he came up with this crazy rap after he heard Rapper's Delight. So the introduction that I got into hip hop was from him writing his first verse, and he wrote it in scribble. I mean, I don't even know how he read it, but he wrote it in scribble, and he started flowing, and I was like, oh my God. Oh, I was done. So I wanted to become a MC after I heard him write his own verse called the Tarzan rap. So I started off as a rapper. I learned how to MC from him. So I watched him learn how to make beats, and I became intrigued by that.
So Kinship Entertainment really is spawned from being a rap group called Kinship. And so the name Kinship really is a play on the fact that we're brothers. And our older brother and younger sister played ancillary roles in our group. But it was me and Mike, and we wanted to be MCs and songwriters and producers. So we started off, saying we got to take control of this, and we need to, be self-sufficient. So, we would book studio time and spend all of our money that we saved up in the summertime on studio sessions. And if we would be in Richmond, Virginia, and we'd go to this little studio and we'd get 8 hours at midnight to like 5 in the morning, because that was the time we could afford. And, we'd record the songs, and then after listening to them, we're like, oh, I wish we could have done this song over, or we got to book more time to go finish that. And that turned into, okay, what if we had a studio? What if we had some equipment? We can just record it ourselves, and we don't need to spend our resources that were very limited at that time in that way. And so, Kinship, man, has always been about being self-sufficient. And then the name also transcends us being brothers, blood brothers, into, well, what connects people like us who love hip hop music, who love culture, who love art. There's something that unites all of us. There's this, tie that binds us all. So Kinship sort of represents that connection between people all over the world who can connect to this art, this culture, and this music that we create. We are involved in a lot of, right now, what seem to be, the projects that we're involved with right now make sense in a couple of different ways. So what we do right now is we produce music, we produce film, we publish comic books, children's books, we have apparel, we have toys. So, but all of these creations really center around a central theme. And our theme right now is something that's very passionate to us, and that's the Out of Place Artifacts series. And so Out of Place Artifacts really spawned from this idea that we are connected to a history that's not really understood very well, right? And so we know that being people of color, that there are ways in which we've been ostracized historically. And so everybody can relate to that. There's something about each of us that says, I'm not sure that this is the way it's supposed to be or it always was. And so we want to explore those opportunities to say, all right, look, there's a story here that may not be the mainstream version of how that happened. I remember being a freshman in college at Morehouse College, taking a world history course and being taught that, okay, there are people who believe that, there are Black people in our country today that don't realize that you come from kings and queens and that there was civilization before, you came to this country. And so just hearing that and understanding that there's a history that we don't really get taught very much and that we don't understand very well. So we built a kind of a series of entertainment products around that idea. And it started off with a series of songs that my brother and I recorded probably about 10 years ago. And so each song represented one component of something that's called an out-of-place artifact, the word artifact. And so we said, well, let's take a play on that and take this artifact like Crystal Skull. There was a skull that was dug up in Belize. And so we said, well, let's make a song about this, but the song is going to be kind of personify the Black experience in America.
Yo, shackle to my brothers like here I go again. On the ship as I'm traveling, on a journey with my kin. Avoiding time I had to take to begin to understand the relics of a past. The future slipping away just like some sand in an hourglass. I don't know if you cats are hearing me. Nah, I can't hear you. Even though I'm speaking clearly, fear me and my slight speech impediment. UP, he know what's relevant. We settle to the bottom just like some ocean sediment. Intelligent, bringing this brief interlude. We build pyramids, it's each with stone that protrude to the sky like mountains of the moon from which they travel. My road is kinda rough right now because it's gravel, but it's the path I have taken nonetheless. I guess I need the crystal skull in my hand to manifest. What? How can I get around like that?
To get this flow, you gotta get up and go. Quick, fast, not sluggish or slow. And if you don't know, now you know.
The purpose of Kinship Entertainment is to express the ideas or the ideologies of the group Kinship. And one of the projects that we delved into was Out of Place Artifacts. We've had other projects prior to this, but this project really resonated with the both of us. It allowed us to branch off and do other things outside of music. The music was an expression, and the other aspects that we got into with Kinship Entertainment and other product lines allows Kinship, the group, to express through the vehicle we call Kinship Entertainment. So if we have other artists that we want to work with, Kinship, the group, has a vehicle to express those, whether it be music or film or other things, we can use Kinship Entertainment as a vehicle to, put our stamp on it. Well, Kinship Entertainment has many things that it's doing. We're producers. We write books. We have action figures, toys. We help other artists create their own products. Whether it be music, apparel. We have worked with some young MCs to try to help them, gain some notoriety through mentoring. So Kinship Entertainment is more than just music. And how we fit in, I think we can help other young MCs become, mentees. We can kind of expose them to some of the do's and don'ts, not just in music, but business. Because I think finance, business, those things get lost. How do you create a retirement portfolio? I think that's important because you see a lot of MCs that don't have any money and you wonder why. Well, you have to kind of, explain this to these cats that, hey, you should take some of that money and at least invest it in a home, invest it in some property. You have to look towards the future, not just what you're doing today.
Yeah, so I think, out of place artifacts, again, we are art. I think the human creation is, we are as much art as we are science. So I think whoever, whatever, the universe, the creator, whatever you believe in, that created us, that entity created works of art. And so I think as we go through our daily lives, we need to reconnect with who we are and what we are, what we were created to be. And I think at this point in my life, personally, and my brother, I'm sure can attest to this in his own words, we want you to rediscover yourself through what we do. And so being out of place is sort of a play on, I'm trying to figure out, is that process of discovery and saying, where is my place in the world and the universe? And as you get older, you kind of begin to think about things philosophically. And I know there are other people who can relate to this idea of, I need to figure out where is my place in the world and in the universe and in time. And so I think we've created some interesting music, some interesting literary works, and some comic book that really opens the door for people to explore those ideas and kind of do some research for themselves to figure out, hey, wow, I never knew this part of the world even existed, or that these topics were things that I could discover for myself, and to make it funky and to have some beats with it and some visuals that are cool. I mean, that's just a win-win as far as I'm concerned. So our process for creating strategies really, starts with my brother and I sitting down and formulating kind of at a high level what it is we're trying to accomplish. So after we kind of figure out a general direction, we firmly believe we have to bring in people who are experts in their field. And so, we just recently finished a strategic planning session with Crystal Jordan with Enchanted PR. And she is an example of an individual who, we feel like her insight in the entertainment industry and her connections really help us kind of synthesize a lot of these ideas that go through our minds. So as creative people, a lot of times we sit around and come up with tons and tons of ideas, but now we have to learn how to make sense of that. And we have to bring people in who can help us sort of formulate sound business strategies around the creative part. And so that strategic planning session with Enchanted PR was instrumental, I think, in helping us develop the next steps for Kinship Entertainment.
Well, Kinship in 5 years, I think, should be partnering up with other creative folks to create movies, to create other comics for other folks. We should be creating just mass media platforms for other creative people. And we want to take our brand to another level so that other people will want to partner up with us. And hopefully the corporations can get on board with us because we are in these other realms. We are working with a company to produce a movie, hopefully to come out in the first part of 2019 with Fat Cats. And I don't want to divulge the title, but we're very excited about putting this movie out there and getting it done before the end of the year. and releasing it for 2019.
So the future of Kinship Entertainment is something that we hope to become more of a household name. That sounds like a cliche, but we really think that there is a global connection that needs to be made between what we're doing here in the United States and the music that generated in the United States, known as hip hop music and hip hop culture. We want to take our company to places that currently I think there isn't a strong presence for hip hop in the light that I came up understanding hip hop to be. And so somewhere along the way, it became about having things. It was about cars, money, and flashing jewelry and alcohol. And I think the essence of what we're doing, we want to return hip hop back to the place that I think was important to me. And it's important to other people to understand that story and that legacy. So in 10 years, I think Kinship Entertainment really is going to be a global brand that reintroduces hip hop into art and culture.
It's the hottest thing, and it's on its way to the top. Step up front, you dig? Get down, get down, get down, get down. Step up, step up.